You are experiencing a life-changing, powerful interview, and you are hearing it first from Arthur Robinson Jr.'s PowerfulInterviews.com.
Good evening, everyone. This is Arthur Robinson Jr. I'm the creator of PowerfulInterviews.com, and tonight I have another special interview for each and every one of you. Tonight I have a wonderful person on the call, and he's a great friend of mine. His name is Dr. Bob Bowman. And for those that don't know Dr. Bob, let me explain to you about this incredible man. Dr. Bob Bowman is the National Commander of the Patriots Executive Vice President of Millennium III Corporation, Bishop Protector of the Society of Blessed John, and Primate of the United Catholic Church, the recipient of the Eisenhower Medal, the George K. Kenyon Peace Prize, the President's Medal of Veterans for Peace, the Republic Innovation Air Power Award, the Society of American Military Engineers, the Air Medal with 5 oak leaf clusters, medal and numerous other awards. He is one of the country's foremost authorities on national security. Dr. Robert Bob flew one-on-one combat missions as a fighter pilot in Vietnam and directed all the Star Wars programs under Presidents Ford and Carter. He has been an executive in both government and industry and has chaired 8 major international conferences. Dr. Robert Bowman taught at 5 colleges and universities, serving as department head and assistant dean. His PhD is nuclear engineering for Caltech. He has lectured at the National War College and United Nations, the Industrial College of the Armed Forces, Congressional Caucuses, dozens of universities, the academics of science, and 6 nations in the House of Lords. And that is an awesome resume. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome Dr. Robert Bowman to the call.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
Well, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Robert, for taking time out of your busy schedule to educate me and my listeners worldwide about the nuclear reactors. I gladly appreciate it.
You're quite welcome.
Now, what I would like to know, and can you educate the listeners worldwide in regards to who is Robert Bowman, how long you've been in your powerful industry, and what is your expertise?
Well, like you said, 101 combat missions in Vietnam and directing all the Star Wars programs and teaching at all the colleges and universities and all that. Essentially, in 1982, beginning of 1982, 29 years ago, I had a decision to make, and I made it on the side of truth, and I became a whistleblower and a troublemaker. And essentially, I haven't worked since, not for a paycheck anyway. And so what happened is I came out against Reagan's Star Wars scheme and proposed a ban on Star Wars weapons at a United Nations conference in Vienna. And so that sort of launched me on a career of exposing government lies, and I'm still doing it. And, of course, the government has lied about all sorts of things, including the safety of our nuclear reactors, just as happened in Japan.
Now, can you break down in layman's terms in your own powerful way about the total meltdown of nuclear reactors? And can you also break down in your own powerful way, how do you feel about they are buying iodine off the shelves from Japan to the coast? What would be your general intake on that?
Well, let's deal with the second one first. Nobody in the United States has any business taking iodine. That is for people who have had massive exposure to radiation and are coming down with radiation sickness. And that takes probably 100,000 times more radiation than we're likely to get out of this Japanese debacle. The Japanese people, on the other hand, that's another thing. A great many of them need that iodine to protect their thyroids from the radiation. But the iodine is powerful stuff itself and can damage the thyroid, and for a person who isn't exposed to massive doses of radiation to take it, all they're doing is damaging their health. So I'll deal with that one first. As far as meltdown, a complete meltdown means that all the fuel rods melt and perhaps melt their way through the floor of the containment vessel, and they used to call it the China syndrome. The molten fuel rods, radioactive material would continue down through the earth and all the way to China. Well, of course, that's not going to happen. If it gets as far as the center of the earth, it stops because there's no more gravity. It'd have to go against gravity to work its way up the other side, and there's no force to make it do that.
Now, can you break down in your own powerful way about Fukushima 3, and in regards to the meltdowns, it was shown on the news where the explosion took place. It looked like a black-brown mushroom cloud. Can you expand on that?
Well, first of all, that was a simple hydrogen explosion for the most part. When somebody says mushroom cloud, it brings to mind a nuclear explosion. This was not a nuclear explosion. And yes, there was some radioactive nuclear material in the cloud, but the cloud went, maybe 3,000 feet in the air, not the 35,000 feet that you'd have from a nuclear explosion, which would put the radioactive material up in the jet stream. So there's a world of difference. We don't know exactly what is going on with these explosions in the various reactors, and we don't know exactly what the status of the reactors is at the moment, whether the water is boiling away or whether they're making progress with their fire hoses or what. And there is fairly strong radiation in the vicinity of the reactors. That's why they're having to shuffle people in and out, and that's why the people who are working there are probably written themselves a death sentence. For people outside the exclusion zone, some of them may indeed come down with radiation sickness, and when you get as far away as Tokyo, I doubt that that's going to happen. The people who are leaving Tokyo and heading south, I think, are probably premature. But it's understandable. There's great fear of the unknown when it comes to this stuff.
Now, you mentioned the power of radiation. Now, last week, Ann Coulter, I don't know if you're familiar with her, she was on a rally show, and she was basically breaking it down in regards to radiation is good for the body. How do you feel about that statement that she made?
Well, I haven't checked it out enough to say definitively that it's hogwash.